Let's talk about what it means to decenter men and how to actually do it. So first off, what does it mean? Decentering men means shifting your focus. Instead of men being the center of your life, it's you. Essentially teaching yourself how to be an autonomous being. This doesn't mean you hate men. This just means they're not a priority. We live in a patriarchal society, a society that was created and run by men, and this society prioritizes men over women. So now what would it actually look like to decenter men? Let's talk about what doing the work would look like, how you can unpack all the ways that you are centering men, how to actually put it into practice, what the outcome could be, and also how to decenter men if you're still choosing to date. First off, what does the work look like? This is you first and foremost identifying and then meeting all of your needs: physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. This is the time for you to figure out what your attachment style is, to research, learn, and then heal that by putting that into practice later. This is the time to figure out what triggers you and learn how to feel safe regardless of external circumstances. This is also the opportunity to reflect on past relationships, to research, learn, and heal, and really unpack them. Each relationship, beginning, middle, and end. Try and look at it through a really neutral, objective lens. What did they do wrong? What did I do wrong? Okay, now, second, how are you centering them? Are you dressing for the male gaze? This is a time to question once you put the clothes on your body, your makeup, your jewelry. Am I doing this because I like it, or am I doing this because on some level, even if it's very small, I feel like a man might appreciate me wearing this? And there's no shame in that. We're women. We've been conditioned to do this. And I'm not suggesting you just wear something that hides your body if you really want to feel sexy, because good for you. You do that, girl, but you do it for you. Have you put certain aspects of being a woman into the back pocket, into the shadow? Are you apologizing for your body? Do you shame or condemn your body? Do you post pictures that you think men will respond to? What's the intention behind posting pictures? Essentially ask yourself all the ways in which you are or could be potentially asking for male attention or male validation, all the ways in which you are looking to a man to bring you fulfillment, joy, happiness. Okay, number 3, now putting that into practice. Once you shift your energy away from a man or men, you might realize how much energy you have. You might feel like, I have all this time and energy. I have this void maybe, right? Like I need to fill this now. I suggest starting with self-care. That can look like a cup of tea or a glass of wine in the bathtub. It doesn't have to be an extravagant thing. It could mean getting a couple hours of sleep. Prioritizing your girlfriends, your friendships with your girls is key. You can do things with your girlfriends that you would like to do with a man. I think this would be a cute date. Do it with your girlfriends. Once you start to decenter men, your friends might shift and change. They might come and go. You'll suddenly notice how many of your friends are centering men in their lives. That's not a bad thing. That's just where they're at. But you might notice how often conversations come back to men. If you don't have hobbies that you're into, now's the time to get into them.
Hey y'all, so I want to talk about this subject because obviously it's been floating around the internet, and you do see a lot of different opinions on this. And to be honest, like I do think that it's a good conversation starter, but I also feel like I support this way of life, and I'm obviously just coming from my perspective and my experience and just giving my input, right? And I'm trying to just like use this as a conversation piece because I am very curious to hear what you guys think, especially because I know the majority of my audience is women, and I think the majority of my audience is actually still young women. I think a lot of you guys are anywhere between 18 to my age, and then I know like I have a smaller percentage that's like older women, like in their 50s and up to 65, right? So I want to know, how do you guys feel about decentering men? Like, are we here for it? Is this something that you have always practiced? Is this something that you've always believed in? Is it something that you came across from the internet and felt like you wanted to practice in your real life? Like I am very curious, because from my understanding of what decentering men means for women is to stop making them the focus around our lives simply because we want to have companionship and families in the future. And to not look outside of ourselves for the love that we should be giving ourselves, because often when we look outside of ourselves for love and validation and all that, that sometimes we can seek from men, we are depleting ourselves of our self-love and self-value and self-worth, and it just can wreak havoc on your mental, your internal, and even your life, depending on how far you let it affect you and how far you may or may not fall down, right? And I feel like I am very much here for this. As a person, when I shared my video on I wish I hadn't done this to myself, where I talked about how I would rush in relationships and try to rush and talk about, my fertility and getting pregnant and things like that, and how I went very, very wrong with doing that, and how I wasted my 20s, which is a good part of my youth. But I mean, to be honest, girl, I look the best I ever looked now. So, okay, I went through my 20s to go ahead and bump my head a little bit to figure out more of what I want to live out of life. And now that I'm just like in my 30s, like I look and feel the best that I ever have. It's okay, 20s, we bye-bye girl, hello 30s girl, you know what I'm saying? But as a person who, yes, I can admit that when I centered men in my life and centered my life around relationships, it caused me harm. Indeed, it did. And there have been times when I was even younger where I've lost myself. Obviously when you're a teenager and all that, like you kind of struggle with like your self-identity as you're, coming into your own and knowing more about yourself and you're learning more about the world. So I went through all of that. I went through all of that stuff, okay? And it's interesting because another part of the message of Decentering Men and what it means for women is for women to focus more on themselves, focus more on what they want out of life, focus more on their goals, their dreams, their career, their options. If they have children, obviously focusing more on their children, and loving ourselves and pouring more into ourselves than we have, men in our lives and all of that. And some people even take this as far as decentering men to where they're even like saying they're decentering not only relationships, but girl, they decentering male family members and friends. Are y'all doing that? I've always been like a very self-indulged girly. Like I will always be that, right? And so it's just interesting how I do feel like this topic like aligns with even where I'm at in life right now. Like as of right now, and you guys know I'm a new mom, I'm a single mom. I'm not interested in immediately dating. And of course I'm not going to be bringing, any old rando around my child, please. Now I do want, more children and I want to be married and things in the future. However, this time around, I don't feel any type of urge to rush out there and get it. Like I might make jokes here and there with some of my girls, but it's like, it's something that I know will come to me in due time. So I'm not, tripping about it, but I know I have to be careful with how I govern myself, right? Because I'm going to be thinking about, my child first. So period. But I just think it's so interesting how this aligns with like my current state of life. And it's like, I know that Decentering Men is like more of a movement amongst women, and people are like, women are like really applying this, like, in the workplace, like, girl, they talk about decentering their bosses, like not tolerating the disrespect. I am here for that. I am here for it. Don't get fired, girl. Don't lose your job. But if you need to leave that job and go and get you a new one, oh, power to you. Just be safe out there. Okay, don't be out here losing your jobs. But do what you need to do. But like the movement goes pretty far, and I just like, and so that's like where I want to like kiki with y'all, like in the comments, and like I don't know, maybe one day I could even do a live stream about this topic and just like see like you all's input about it, because this is a big conversation piece around the internet. And it obviously is huge on TikTok, and maybe we could like pull up some TikToks and talk about it too. I want to know where the free spirits are at with this. Like, where are the girlies? Like, where are y'all at with this decentering men? Have you decentered men in your life? How's it going? Like, do you find more success, right, in your relationships or in your dating life as you prioritize yourself more? You should, but then some women talk about how they, are lonely, or some women just completely lose interest just in general, which being lonely, I feel it, but it's like, girl, if you feeling lonely, get your child, girl, there's so many things that you can do to fill your time. and boost your spirits up. So don't get too down on yourself. But losing all interest in dating and men and just being about self, like I'm kind of here for that too. Like what is, like, I want to know what are y'all doing? I want to know where you guys are at with this subject. And we can definitely talk about it more. I'm here for it. I don't see anything wrong with the movement. It's not like this is harming anyone, right? It's not like this is like we're decentering men, so we about to go out and beat up all the men, which I'm not playing, but not a bad idea. Not playing. Which, understandable, but obviously, like, it's not harming anyone or anything like that. I just want to know how this applies to, like, you guys' life. And I feel like this subject applies to just where I'm at naturally. Like, it just naturally aligns. And I'm not even trying to necessarily decenter or whatever. Like, I'm just moving forward, So it's just, what's the team? I don't know. You guys let me know what you all think. I may try to schedule a live stream. Oh, it's been so long since I've gone live on my channel. But I want to change up the way I did it. I want to have, conducive subjects, and like I want to make it more fun and more interactive, on my platform, and just talking about these topics, maybe pulling up some TikToks or something. We'll figure it all out. I'm sure we will, and we'll cross this bridge again. But yeah, you guys go ahead and let me know what you all think, and I will definitely be seeing you guys in the next one.